Hey now, Mando fans who are expecting a tense penultimate episode, but in reality got a character study on Bill Burr's Mayfeld. But hey, it was a new episode of The Mandalorian, so life is still good. Let's get right to breaking down all the Easter eggs, Star Wars references, cameos, and best moments featured in The Mandalorian, The Believer, aka S2E7. Up first, we get to see the return of Mayfeld, a Season 1 character played by Bill Burr, who he told us wasn't coming back, but like all Star Wars actors, he's a liar. Mayfeld, in working in a scrapyard full of Imperial war machines, including tie halls and this at-ST head, aka the Chicken Walker. Hey now there, Boba, looking good with a fresh coat of paint, but more importantly, you got your EE3 carbine rifle back. And those of you bitching about his fresh matte paint job already, I mean, is this the state of the Star Wars fandom these days, where no matter how great something is, fans still need to find something to bitch about? My eyes have rolled into the back of my head at this point in time with you people. Sticking with the opening scene, I do believe that is a scrapped U-Wing sitting back there in the distance. Okay, on Morak we get to see a Juggernaut, which is a transport vehicle that was first featured in Revenge of the Sith, but has also appeared in the animated universe. We then get an ISB mention from Mayfeld, which kicked off a fun exchange of "not it" from our mod squad of sortie heroes, but the best line came from Boba when he mentioned that they may recognize his face. Tamara delivered it brilliantly for some dry Star Wars humor. On board a Juggernaut, we get to see a tank commander trooper, which we knew were coming through the Topps card leak, but it was nice to see them on screen again. The comm panel in the ride is also the same one Han shoots up in A New Hope when the prison break goes awry. The pirates that attack the Jug clearly have hard-ons for thermal detonators, and they're the same model that Bausch used in ROTJ to get some more cheddar from Mr. Worm-Ridden Filth himself. It was a good old Rogue One trooper party in this episode, as we also got to see shore troopers in action again. How about Mr. Creed whipping off his helmet again? I'm ratting you out to the cult, Din. This is not the freaking way. Mayfeld drops a reference to Tanab, and one must assume that he's referring to the same Battle of Tanab that Lando boasted about in Jedi. Mayfeld gives us an Office Space egg by mentioning the need to fill out TPS reports, so the only thing missing was him breaking out a stapler for no one to touch. It was a regular who's who for Imperial grunts this week, as we also got to see some Death Star gunners in action, or at least getting shot in the face. Mayfeld was loaded with references in this episode, and his next important one was about Operation Cinder in Burn and Khan. The former was introduced in Battlefront 2, while the latter was first mentioned in a Star Wars mobile game called Star Wars Uprising, so the gaming verse got some love in this episode. I'm going to go out on a limb with this next one, but when Valen Hess, who is played by Richard Brake, drops his line about freedom and people wanting order, I couldn't help but think of the First Order and how these fools will ultimately morph into that. Coincidence? I think not. Boba gave us the best Easter egg of the season when he releases a seismic charge just like Jango did back in AOTC to try and shake Kenobi and his starship flying hating ass. And to round things out, Din gave us a damn near word-for-word callback to Moff Gideon's speech that he delivered in Season 1 when he had the sorta good guys pinned down on Navarro. Take that, Gideon. And now for the episode's best moments. I've already seen the fandom complaining about Boba's armor being painted, but quite frankly, I thought it looked fresh as fuck. And at this point, fans would take issue with George Lucas saying he created Star Wars. So the fandom has really become nothing but a bunch of whiny malcontents at this point. Wah! I have to say that the best moment in this episode mostly revolved around the Slave One, and getting to see more of its interior was awesome. I especially liked seeing how the hull rotates like a gyroscope to keep everyone level during takeoff, and just seeing the cargo hold and the cockpit door open gave us a whole new perspective on this iconic ship. Seeing Mando decked out in trooper armor was pretty fun, and Mayfeld's commentary only made the moment better. I found Din removing his helmet again to be very poignant. It shows how committed he is to Grogu. He is his dad. That was a fatherly love on display thing right there. He broke his creed to ultimately help save Grogu, which is an act any parent would do if their child were in danger. It goes to show that his bond with Grogu is even stronger than his bond with the Creed, and that's a lot to say about a Kool-Aid drinker like Din. It seems like this season and meeting other Mandos who aren't insane is wearing off on him a bit, but the true reason for him breaking the way is clear. Grogu is his life. You know, I wasn't a fan of Mayfeld coming into this episode, and was disappointed that he was the character getting another turn on the show, but in all honesty, I found his character growth in this episode to be great, and Burr's line delivery is still perfect for the character. You knew that he wasn't such a dick when he decided to waste Hess and then took out the facility before it could be used to make more WMDs for the Empire to use. I have a feeling Mayfeld may not be gone from this show quite yet, thanks to his turn in this episode. I know it was an Easter egg, but I also have to mention the seismic bomb drop as a top moment. It's a great callback to one of the more interesting moments from AOTC, and it is still one of the coolest sounding effects in all of science fiction. So I appreciated that Rick had this moment in the script to give the prequels a nod, and again, to make the Slave One the star of this episode. Alright, well, The Believer wasn't quite as intense as I expected the penultimate episode of this season to be, and while it definitely didn't resonate with me like the other episodes this season, it was still some awesome Star Wars storytelling and world building, so you won't hear me knocking on it too much next week. Make sure to tune into the next episode of the Star Wars Time Show, in which myself and my co-host Nick will fully break down The Believer and give our thoughts on it as a whole. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subbing to our YouTube channel. We'd also love for you to join in with our weekly Star Wars podcast. So use the links in this video's description or head to StarWarsTime.net to subscribe to the platform of your choice. There's always time for Star Wars Time, and remember, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you, always.